Alright, this is Weapon X Reacts and we're back with another video, and this is going to be a review of Good Will Hunting, which is a film directed by Gus Van Sant, and to me, this is honestly one of the most emotionally powerful films that I have ever seen in my life, as it was just so well acted and directed. And not just that, but this is a movie that I totally recommend that you should go check out once in your life, as it is going to be an experience that you will never forget. But I will warn you that this film deals with subject matter that can be extremely depressing and hard to watch all at the same time. But still, this is an amazing movie that deserves a lot more attention, especially nowadays. And I am just going to let you know that there will be a lot of spoilers in this review. I am going to break down the plot of this film. So, Will Hunting is a mathematical genius. However, circumstances forces him to join therapy sessions where he confronts his past, reevaluates his present, and thinks about his future. And if there was one thing that I really liked about this movie, is the way in how it does such an amazing job at telling a story that is deeply compelling and extremely emotional. And while it may look simple at times, this is a very well written and complex movie that will stay with you long after it's over. And to me, one of the most interesting things about this film is the fact that it is so much more than just a psychological romantic drama, but a powerful study of grief and dysfunctional families as a whole. And not just that, but I thought some of the acting performances were really well done, especially from Matt Damon as Will Hunting. And to me, this is honestly one of his best performances, as he does such a great job at portraying his character as someone who is deeply complex, but tragic all at the same time. And when we first see him in the opening scene of the film, it immediately starts off with him working as the school janitor at MIT. But when he decides to solve a math question on a piece of chalkboard, he is immediately embraced as a genius by his peers. But as the film goes on, you start to realize that this is someone who has been through a lot of traumatic shit in his life. And to me, this was a perfect introduction into who he really is as a person. And not just that, but it perfectly sets up everything for the film that you are about to see. And I am not going to lie to you right now. Out of all of the films that I have seen in my life, no film shows grief and loneliness better than this movie right here. And not just that, but Will Hunting is a pretty realistic portrayal of childhood trauma and emotional guilt. I want to talk about his childhood for a bit, as it really adds a lot to his character in a way, especially when you look at how he grew up in a very abusive environment when he was just a child. And you can really see that from how it's revealed that when he was younger, his father used to put cigarettes on his arm and beat him physically and emotionally. And to me, it really says a lot, especially when you look at the main reason on why he is so emotionally damaged throughout the film, despite the fact that he is a very smart person. One of the most interesting things about him as a character is the way in how he tries to use his intelligence as a coping mechanism for the fact that he is a young man struggling with severe emotional guilt and trauma, even if he knows that it won't bring any peace to his life. But despite that, you can really see his desperation in wanting to do whatever it takes in order to move on from the past and becoming a better person through the relationships that he has with Sean Maguire and his girlfriend. And not just that, but it's one of the main reasons on why he went on this journey in the first place, as it was all just so he can finally learn how to accept himself for who he really is, which he does at the end of the film. And to me, it really adds a lot to the fact that he is honestly one of the most compelling characters that I have ever seen in a film like this. And if there was one thing that I really liked about Matt Damon's performance, is the way in how he brought so much depth and humanity into this character. And to me, it's a perfect example of the fact that he can do such a great job at playing characters who are deeply complex but flawed at the same time. And you can really see that through his powerful but subtle performance as Will Hunting. And overall, Will Hunting is such a well written character, and Matt Damon honestly makes this film better than it already is with his performance. And the fact that he was nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars is a perfect example on why this is most definitely up there as being one of the most powerful performances in the history of cinema, as it felt so powerful but so real all at the same time. And I'm actually going to be honest right now, Matt Damon deserves a lot of praise for his performance in this movie, as it really proved that he can be an amazing actor. I thought Robin Williams did a pretty great job playing Sean Maguire, even if he wasn't in the film that much. And he is portrayed as being a therapist who was deeply consumed by the guilt he feels after losing his wife to cancer. But despite that, he tries to do everything that he can in order to help Will Hunting out with his situation. And if there was one thing that I really liked about Robin Williams' performance, is the way in how he brought so much depth and humanity into the role, as it really made his character someone who you can actually feel sympathy for. And overall, this is honestly one of Robin Williams' best performances, as it's a perfect example of the fact that he can do such a great job, especially when it comes to starring in dramatic roles, for example. And I totally recommend that you should go check out some of his other films like Dead Poets Society, as it's just an absolute masterpiece that we just don't get from modern Hollywood anymore. And I may review that film in the future. And it wasn't just Robin Williams and Matt Damon that gave great performances, but I thought the supporting cast did a pretty good job playing their characters, especially from Ben Affleck, Minnie Driver, and Stellan Skarsgård, even if they weren't in the film that much. And to me, it really goes to show you that this film has got some of the best performances that you will ever see in a film. I thought the direction from Gus Van Sant was just so well done, as it really proves that he is honestly one of the greatest directors working in Hollywood today. And you can really see that from how he does such a great job at telling a story about a man trying to come to terms with himself and his abusive past, but in a way that feels deeply compelling. And I am not going to lie to you right now. It makes me realize that we need more films just like this, especially when we are living in an age of where every film is either a sequel, prequel, remake, or spin-off of something that nobody asked for. And not just that, but you know one thing that Hollywood needs to stop doing? Stop hiring writers that care more about pushing their woke bullshit above actually telling a good story. Because guess what? That's exactly why Hollywood is falling apart. And you know what? Just let them. Because every single film that they're making right now is bombing at the box office. And you know what? That's their fucking fault. And I'm actually going to be honest right now. I cannot believe why this film doesn't get the respect that it deserves, especially when it comes to Gus Van Sant's direction, as he did a great job directing this film. And it really proves that he's just the absolute best when it comes to telling stories that are deeply compelling. And you can really see that in his other films like Dead Man's Wire, Elephant, and many more. The cinematography is honestly one of the main reasons on why this film is so good. And if there was one thing that I really liked about it, is how it gives the film a very intimate feel to every scene that takes place, as it's all done in a way to reflect the film's themes about the search for human connection and the effects of abuse on other people. And overall, this is honestly some of the best cinematography that I have ever seen in a film like this, as it fits perfectly with everything that this film is about, as it was just so well shot. I thought the scene on where Will starts to have an emotional breakdown in the middle of a therapy session is honestly one of the most emotional scenes that I have ever seen in a film like this. So it starts off with Sean Maguire trying to read out his file, as it reveals that he suffered from severe emotional abuse when he was just a child. And while Will tries to do whatever it takes in order to deflect himself from the situation, Sean tells him that it wasn't his fault. And the scene ends with a shot of him breaking down in tears as he hugs Sean Maguire. And I just want to say that the acting from Matt Damon and Robin Williams in the scene is honestly some of the best acting that I have ever seen in a film, as you could really feel the pain and guilt that he feels. And if there was one thing that I really liked about the scene, is the fact that this is a pretty realistic depiction of what it feels like to go through abuse. And I'm not going to lie to you right now. This is one of the only scenes that emotionally broke me, as it felt so fucking real, but so fucking powerful all at the same time, as it fits perfectly with who Will really is and how he tries to save himself at the end of the movie. That is why I like this film so much, because it really shows that we need more movies like this, especially when we are living in an age of where every film is just an empty piece of shit that doesn't need to exist. There's something about this film that I really like, and I really wish Hollywood would just bring that back. I thought the writing from Matt Damon and Ben Affleck is honestly one of the main reasons on why Good Will Hunting is just an absolute masterpiece of cinema. And if there was one thing that I really liked about it, is the way in how it does such a great job and making every line of dialogue feel realistic but raw all at the same time. And the fact that this film won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay is a perfect example on why this film is so fucking good, as it's most definitely up there as being one of the best films that I have ever seen in the 90s. And the fact that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were both in their mid-20s really shows that this film is so much better than the shit made by Hollywood. This is the rating that this film got on Rotten Tomatoes, so 97% from the critics and 94% from the audience. And I am going to read out the reviews right now. So for the first one, it follows a predictable narrative arc, but Good Will Hunting adds enough quirks in the journey and is loaded with enough powerful performances that it remains an entertaining, emotionally rich drama. For the second one, it's got a lively screenplay and fine performances all around, and it consistently delivers emotional payoffs. For the second one, Good Will Hunting may follow a formulaic arc, but Gus Van Sant's direction and Robin Williams and Matt Damon's performances elevate the film. For the fourth review, its writer stars Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's childhood friendship chemistry and the hilarious bickering between the real-life Affleck brothers that generates the magic in Good Will Hunting. Not to mention a magical performance by Robin Williams. And there is one thing that I actually forgot. The best thing about this film is that it feels so authentic in a way. And you can really see that through the writing. For the fifth review, the acting is outstanding. Robin Williams and Matt Damon perfectly embody their roles, creating a believable, poignant, powerful partnership full of uplifting, feel-good triumphs. And that is something I most definitely agree with, and as I read these reviews, it makes me realize that this is one of the only films that I've seen of where the reviews from the critics actually felt like it was well deserved. And not just that, but if there was anything else that I want to say is go watch this film, as it's so much better than the woke dog shit that is being made nowadays. No, seriously, Without this film would have not been successful if it wasn't from the direction, the acting, the writing, the cinematography, everything. This is one of the most powerful films ever made, and it deserves to be called that. Yeah, you can call the film overrated, I don't give a fuck. This film is a masterpiece. As it felt so fucking relatable. With characters you can actually care about. Imagine that in Hollywood right now. You're not gonna get this kind of films ever again. So watch this film while you still can, because it's most definitely worth your time. I thought the soundtrack was just so well done, as it fits perfectly with the film's tone and its story. And I'm going to show you an example of it right now. Danny Elfman did such a great job composing the score. Definitely one of his best soundtracks. No film has affected me more than this one. Did you know that this film and Pulp Fiction were both made by Miramax? To me, I think this film is way better than Pulp Fiction. Shit. I am going to explain the ending of this film. So, after accepting that his abuse was not his fault, we see a shot of Will Hunting going all the way from his apartment to the job that was arranged by Professor Lambeau. But as he gets there, he immediately decides to reject the offer just so he can finally have the chance to spend time with Skylar. And then for his 21st birthday, his friends give him a car as a way for him to take control of his own life. And the film ends with Will Hunting deciding to leave a note for Sean Maguire as a way of saying thank you as he finally drives off into the distance with his friends. And if there was one thing that I really liked about the scene, is the fact that it shows that Will Hunting is finally taking control of the life that he lives by rejecting his past. And to me, it's a perfect example on what makes this film so good, as it felt so authentic, but so powerful all at the same time. I'm going to show you the trailers of this film, starting with the first one. I know the word masterpiece has been used like a lot of times, but to me, I really think this film is a genuine masterpiece. Because it's just so well acted and directed. What the fuck?
The campus of one of America's leading universities.
I have shitty internet. Sorry about that, but you're just gonna have to deal with it.
On the campus of one of America's leading universities.
There is a problem. The name will wait short for it. Took my colleagues and I.
Can I just say that this is honestly one of Stellan Skarsgård's best performances.
The most gifted mind to ever enter its classrooms.
This is correct. Who did this?
Is the person who cleans its floors.
I just need the name of this guy who works in my building.
Got this job through his PO, you can call him.
PO?
Parole officer.
Meet Will Hunting.
I've been looking over this rap sheet of yours. Assault, theft, resisting.
I've spoken to the judge, and he's agreed to release you under my supervision.
Really? I'd have to meet with a therapist every week. That's pretty good.
For the first time in his life, he's about to meet his match.
How many shrinks you go to before me?
5.
This boy's genius is unparalleled.
someone who can get through to him.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm pumped. Let's let the healing begin. I went on a date last week.
Going out again?
I don't know. This girl's like, beautiful. She's smart. She's fun. She's like perfect right now. I don't want to ruin that.
Maybe you're perfect right now. Maybe you don't want to ruin that.
Have you talked to him at all about his future?
Give him time to figure out what he wants.
This boy has that gift. Can you imagine if Einstein would have given that up just to get drunk with his buddies every night?
Some people can never believe in themselves
I can't learn anything from you unless you want to talk about you.
until someone believes in them. You can do anything you want. You are bound by nothing.
You're sitting on a winning lottery ticket. I'd do anything to have what you got.
That is actually one of the best scenes in the movie.
I love you. Until you discover.
Because it feels so fucking honest.
Academy Award winner Robin Williams, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Stellan Skarsgård, and Minnie Driver. Good Will Hunting, nominated for 9 Academy Awards.
And I'm not gonna lie to you right now. This film is so much better than the shit that gets made today. And the stuff that wins Academy Awards nowadays. Because I actually heard that the Oscars was on 2 nights ago. And guess what? I don't really give a shit about these stupid award shows anymore. Because it's just celebrities being pretentious and telling you how to live your life. Now for the second one.
Rabbi, it's me. It's me, Will. Remember we went to kindergarten together?
For Will Hunting, there are only 2.
Rabbi, it's me. It's me, Will. Remember we went to kindergarten together?
For Will Hunting, there are only 2 things on his mind. His friends and his books.
You just got finished reading some Marxian historian, Pete Garrison, probably. You're going to be convinced of that some next month when you get to James Lemon. Then you're going to be talking about how the economies of Virginia and Pennsylvania were entrepreneurial and capitalist way back in 1740. My boy's wicked smart.
So maybe we can go out cooking sometime.
But there are certain problems. His genius can't get him out of.
You're going in. $50,000 bail.
Spoken to the judge, and he's agreed to release you. Really? But under 2 conditions. What are those? The second condition is that you see a therapist.
And he's about to meet his match.
Will Hunting.
Right.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm pumped. I like what you've done with the place. Let me do my job. Maybe you married the wrong woman. Maybe you should watch your mouth. Watch it right there, Chief, all right?
You get leniency or what?
I got counseling 2 days a week. I went on a date last week. How'd it go? It's good.
Left?
You gotta give this kid direction.
He can contribute to the world.
We can help him do that.
Direction's one thing, manipulation's another.
Oh, Sean.
Have to let him find.
Sean, I'm not...
I want you to come to California with me.
It's a really serious thing to say. I mean, he might find out something about me and Mike, and such a serious thing that you can't take it back.
I'm also aware that you've been through several foster homes. The state removed you from 3 because of serious physical.
Look at me, son. It's not your fault.
Why is it always this? I mean, I fucking owe it to myself to do this and that. What if I not to? You don't owe it to yourself. You owe it to me. I mean, you're sitting on a winning lottery. You're too much of a pussy to cash it in.
Don't worry about me. I know what I'm doing.
This girl's like perfect right now.
You can know everything in the world, sport, but the only way you're finding out that one is by giving it a shot.
Don't put your shit on me when you're the one that's afraid.
What the fuck am I afraid
You're afraid of me, you're afraid that I won't love you back.
Who's first? Come on. Do you know how easy this is for me?
It's a fucking joke.
He's got problems.
Well, what problems does he have, Sean? That he's better off as a janitor, that he's better off in jail?
He's abandoned by the people who were supposed to help him. Oh, come on, don't give me that. Push him right now. It's going to be the same thing all over again, and I'm not going to let that happen to him.
Don't fuck with me, alright? Don't fuck.
Situations get fucked up, turned around,
you want to do. Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, this film is depressing, but there's a sense of hope in this film too. In conclusion, this was an amazing film, as it does such a great job at showing a man trying to become a better person. And to me, it makes me realize that we just don't get movies like this anymore, especially when we are living in an age of where every film has gone to the point of becoming soulless and empty. And if there is anything else that I want to say is go watch this film, as it's just an absolute masterclass when it comes to the acting, writing, directing, and cinematography. And not just that, but you could really tell that this was made by a filmmaker who actually gave a shit about the story that he wanted to tell, and he did it perfectly. And I just want to let you know that the next films I'm going to be reviewing is Johnny 3116 starring Vincent Gallo, Project Hail Mary, Perfect Days by Wim Wenders, and Ford vs. Ferrari. So, go ready for those. And also, anyway, that's all I got for today. Go away now, and always remember, strike back like a weapon against wokeness.